Hey guys, we're pretty much just going to jump into this. I wanted to do an analysis video of the Nintendo Switch, which I have found some things that of course, people probably have found, but I have not found those people who have found these things. So, hopefully, we can build off of this as a community and figure out what's actually going to be the big storyline going on with the new Mario game. Because it seems like in Super Mario Odyssey, there might be more things going on than we originally think there may be. Because Mario normally has a simple storyline. I'm starting to think that there might be something bigger going on, like not like Legend of Zelda scale, but for Mario, something pretty interesting that they can do. Kind of like more of a storyline of the RPG based ones. So as we start off, we'll see that Nintendo Switch logo. This is what we're going to see probably for all trailers, at least for the startup. And right off the bat, in the first scene, this is New Donk City, as we can see on the right hand side on the sign. But if we look to the very left, there's something called Tiny's Piroshkis. Now, I did some research on what a piroshki is, and from what I got, it's either a European or Russian dish. I'm not quite sure, but I know some dishes translate to different countries, and then I don't want to say which one it's exactly from because I can't find where it originates from. So it's like a breaded uh, wrap. It kind of looks like a pierogi to me, but apparently not. You can stuff it with meat and stuff like that from what I understand, but I might be getting this completely wrong. And right to the beside that is you can see something called Candy's Cafe, or it could possibly be casino, but I believe it's just cafe. And then on that sign you see two more signs of New Donk City, which the Donk is pretty much for Donkey Kong, which I think they should have just said New Donk City, because that would have been much more appropriate to this generation and much more relatable. And right underneath there is another thing called Something's Bagels. Now, as I try my best to really squint in, what I think the letters at the very end are Z's. So I have no idea what character from the um Donkey Kong series that name is supposed to be. So maybe that's what you guys can help me out with. Other than that, we see Dixie's Theater, which is a reference to Dixie Kong, and right there, we see something called Crazy Cat. Now, I'm slightly dyslexic, under stress, and I can't read cursive writing, but I think that says crazy. If it does not, let me know. And this I'm going to talk about later on for a bit because we can actually see this in every single level that is shown. Other than that, we can see all these water towers on all the buildings. So, considering this is going to be on the scale of Mario Sunshine and Mario 64, maybe these water towers are going to play a role in maybe some of the later story mode, missions and stuff like that. As odds are, each sandbox level will have a variety of missions that Mario has to do to get the collectible items. If there is any, because we have right now we haven't seen any, but we can assume there is, or at least missions that he has to accomplish. Now, the reason I think this is called Crazy Cap is because as we go down, look to the bottom, it says "Go Cap Crazy," so that's why I think it's a safe bet that it's that. And right here we can see a sign that says Dixie Street, which is in reference to the Dixie Theater and that business there. At the very top of the screen, you're going to see like what looks like a floating raft. We're also going to get back to that. A lot of things we have to get back to because we see these in later scenes that explains everything. Um, when the camera pans over here, we get to see that all these fire exits have boxes on it, and they're accessible to Mario, and we can assume that Mario would be able to break these, or at least climb these for to get to higher places. I think he can break them, and possible items can come out of them. And you can also see a sign up top with a mushroom. We have not seen any abilities of like power-ups from Mario here yet, but we can say that if there is, this might be a hint to something of one of the abilities he can. To me, it kind of looks like an acorn, but I'm not quite sure yet. As the crazy caps, I'll bring that up about these mushrooms as well. Um, as the camera kind of pans down, it kind of looks like the opening of Sonic DX, and with chaos coming out of the sewers. But we can actually see that the crosswalks lights are actually question blocks, but modernized to a realistic form. We can think that maybe Mario can hit those and get items out of them, but we do know Mario can jump on those and climb them to get to the light post and then stand on top of the light. Other than that, at the back here, we can see a red structure on of a building. Now, underneath it says Cogwald. Yeah, Cogwald. And this is actually what I think is the name of the forest level. And we'll see the same structure in that same level. And to the right of it, that's the colors of what we see as the food level later on as well. And what I see here is MT period something. And so I think that level is a mountain, and it's called Mount something or another. I can't really tell from here because of the glare and from the angle. But we can see all these people walking down the streets, and at the very end, a light coming out of a building which we can assume Mario can enter from. And we also see this opening later on as well. Now, as this car approaches, we can actually see the driver's license say 1981 ND New Donk City in reference to Donkey Kong for the Atari, or the original Donkey Kong game. I'm sorry, not Atari, but the original Donkey Kong game. Why, I don't know why the heck I said Atari, but like the arcade system. And that brings up the fact of, could this city possibly be where Mario originally fought Donkey Kong? But if that's the case, Mario is stated to be going to a new worlds. So this probably is not, and is just a big like a Easter egg or like references. But I like to think that this might have something to do with the original Donkey Kong, and they can build something off of this. Now, this is the first introduction we see to Mario's new design. His hat now is more bouncy and gets off of his head a lot more often, and we find out that it's actually alive. And his hair, you can actually see a bit of the strands of them individually, as well as detail in his jeans, more robust shoes, and details in the gloves. So you can tell Mario's up for business now. And he even has a charger that came from 3D World. From the background here, we can see purple coins as well as yellow coins. Now, it's possible that, I know I say now a lot, but it's possible that those purple coins are not actually coins, but they're cogs that we see in the forest level later on. But we also see other purple items to be collectibles, so it is unknown really what their function is, besides something Mario can collect. As Mario goes around, we actually see some details in the background. Like, as Mario's approaching this section, we see a Bowser flag at the very right, which is a save point, which actually is where the big tower was at the beginning of the video when Mario jumped out of the sewers. So as he's running, we see a new angle, and in this angle we see a woman in a laptop, just K. Rool Street and Ramby Street, and further back we can see more buildings, but it kind of makes it look like the Mario can reach everything. But as we get to a higher point, we find out that it's a different fact than that. There's another building that Mario can access, unknown to what is actually inside it, but maybe that each building, like the different buildings Mario goes into, maybe has different missions inside it, or equipment things that Mario has to get. We here find Espresso Street, and if we look at the flags at the side, we can maybe say that this is the icon for this level, let's say as at a big map that Mario has to go to all these different countries. This would be the symbol for New Donk City. And at the background we can see that Bowser flag again with the tall tower to confirm that they were indeed the same area. And it's safe to also think that Mario doesn't really enter any of these buildings unless the door is wide open with the light on. I can't really picture him opening up each individual door, which I would think would be amazing, but I don't think so. We see that Mario can actually bounce off the roof of all these taxis, and these taxis are the only thing in this city that drives around. Back in the background there, you can see something that says UMP. It was been thought that it said jump, but in actuality, in a later shot, we find out it says bump. It's actually a speed bump because it's going off stage. And it also shows red girders that very much resembles the ones from the Donkey Kong game, which is more reference to Donkey Kong in itself. We see more water towers as well as some egg-shaped metal thing in between them and more purple-looking coins. We're seeing Mario that he actually can scale majority of these buildings, and to me that is just like freaking Assassin's Creed level shit right here. I mean, it's really cool. Now, as we leave here, we see that what was actually that flying device was actually Mario's flying hat ship, and that somehow it's at the very back of the level, and that at the very bottom there is where Mario actually started. We see more signs at the right, which all of them we've already seen before, but we also see grass on top of these buildings, where Mario can probably access for different missions, as well as the green, the one at the very right, having another Bowser save point. I do not know why there would be so many save points here when the Mario 64 and Sunshine never really needed save points, or maybe they're going to have a different function in this game. We see more metal girders, very reminiscent of Donkey Kong, and we finally see that this is indeed not endless. There is an end to this city, and Mario can fall off. That's why there's like spots here that say stop, as well as another spot that says bump, and so on and so forth. Here we finally see Mario on the hat, but he has his own Mario flag. Who knows, maybe it was actually a Bowser flag and he touched it to make it a Mario flag. But he also has a globe, which I think he accesses the globe to choose where he wants to go. Different cities. In the back here we see another one for Cogwald. But I'm trying to see if those, we can actually see what the mount level is called. And no, I could not see any of those signs there. But we also can, we can see that there is an exit in the middle of that tall building in the background. So Mario can access it and then go on those other metal red girders at the side. Mario travels off and we see the background cities, and Mario makes it into what looks like Mexico, which has been frozen by, we imagine to be Bowser or the enemies, and we see another Bowser save point with the Sugar Skull people of this location. Now, most of the buildings here look like they are accessible to be walked in, but some of them are frozen over, so maybe as you keep going along the level, you save their houses and you can access more places. Right here we see another Crazy Cat location, except it's much smaller than the other one, and so it would seem that they are in every level. And also we see these purple triangles this time rather than the circle, coins, cogs, whatever you want to call them. They're actually just triangles right here. So who knows, maybe those are a part of a bigger piece and Mario has to collect them to rebuild something. This is what I've come to know as Cogwald, and I hope it's correct. And here we see all these watering machines that spray in circles, and a tree that we can assume Mario can climb because of the coin at the very top. As Mario goes down, we see that Crazy Cap sign over there, and that's what it's like a hole in the tree. I think that's a door that goes into the tree, and that's probably where Crazy Caps will be in this level. I actually think Crazy Caps might be their version of power-ups in this game, and Mario can switch over different hats for different abilities. Or, like, this one gives Mario a toss for a multi-jump. Maybe there might be another one where it gives Mario some flight, or something where it's like Metal Mario, like the Metal Cap. So I think it's going to work somewhere along those lines, or kind of like Banjo-Kazooie when you go into Mumbo Jumbo's hut, and then he transforms you temporarily. Or not temporarily. No, yeah, he transforms you, and then you have to go back to switch back and stuff like that. As we go here, we see that Mario can actually start running faster out downward slopes, that's what I think. And he starts running on a bridge that was building itself out of flowers. Now this is when we see the structure that was a lot like the Cogwald poster in the forest. So we can safely say that, yes, this is indeed the same location. And we see that the cogs here, the circles that look like coins, actually have holes in the center, which is why I call them cogs. And here Mario will jump in the water. Here's the actual thing that was on the poster, and Mario actually fights a boss at the top of that, from what I believe. I could correct myself by that time. But here's some P buttons Mario can press on to access something. This is the mountain level with a weird looking Rob-like ass robot in the background. And the native fork people. Here Mario can pick up onions. Onions. What the heck am I doing? Turnips. And he's bringing them, I guess, to the soup that we see in a bit. But we can also see the rabbits are back. These rabbits that Mario can catch. And some enemies might actually have themed designs, as this Hammer Bro is throwing frying pans instead of hammers and wearing a chef's hat in the food level. So we can maybe say that this is only for here, but maybe other levels might have different themes for some of the enemies. Now here's that pot of soup or stew that I was mentioning, that I guess on the top of the volcano that they're using to cook it. Mario just flying around on his plane, on his ship once again. Here we see the ship still in the background. We see nothing really new in this angle, but we do see over here that there is this structure floating into the air in the background over there, as well as a lion over at the right that Mario can actually ride in game. Over here we see Mario just playing jump rope with two humans. Here talking to their forks, dancing out in the jungle, and here is the stew that Mario was probably helping them out make, and then they gave him an item as a reward. Mario might have the breathing mechanic back, but it is not right, but he does breathe out his cheeks now. This part is really weird. It looks like freaking Mario was being touched by this weird vine thing at the left. I do not know what it is, but then Mario just slowly walks away like, never talk like this. Here's Crazy Caps again, but Mario cannot go in it. Maybe there's going to be a Mexican Mario, where Mario gets a sombrero. I mean, I would definitely hope that's a thing. I want that to be a thing. Now we see Pimp Bowser here with his top hat, trying to get wet to Peach, and he throws it much like how Mario is able to throw it in the game, except it actually looks like it missed Mario, and then it was coming back and hit him off stage, off of the ship. Here we see Mario can also throw the hat, and then throw it as a weapon, but also use it for leverage to jump upwards. This is actually still the Mexico stage, but you'll see that Mario can actually jump on this to get even further for more greater distance jumps. Here is where we see Mario jumping onto that line as he rides. We see that structure in the background. We see all this. We see a chest that looks like Mario needs a key to open it. But Mario goes out to the desert and rides back to the Mexico looking town. And here is back at Cabo where Mario is fighting various different enemies. Here, a lot of stuff was like being thrown right at us. We see these pod enemies, which actually could be upside down piranha plants, but might be completely different. Here we see Mario trying to get to the top of this, but those wave-causing machines from Mario Galaxy are back, but in a new form it looks like with a spiky top, so Mario might not even be able to jump on those. Now, this is probably a later on mission in the city, in Donk City, where Mario is in a rainy, okay, it's rainy, there's tanks probably fighting around, and these also have hats. Hats are very important in this so far, and you'll see in a moment. It seems that Mario is able to kick the pylons away, and at the back we can see Bowser and Peach, a royal wedding. And we see this more lightened up here. We did not see these signs in the previous scenes, so this probably might be only for that episode of that level, for that chapter. Kind of like how there was different time of days in some of the levels in Mario Sunshine. Here, Bowser stepping on Mario. What I'm assuming is his original hat, Mario's original hat. Why Mario had to go get a new hat from Crazy Cat with the eyes that we will see soon. Here we see the new ship of a new henchman of Bowser's, or we don't exactly know their real purpose, but we can actually say that this weird rabbit on the very left, he kind of looks like a mixture of Morton, Ludwig, and a rabbit. And they might have something to do with the rabbits that Mario always catches. This is why they are have an issue with them. And each of them have hats. So maybe they brought all this ability to Bowser and brought him the hats. And maybe they're the ones who run the business. Or maybe it's another EGAD shop. If it's another EGAD, it would make a lot of sense. Here's what we can say is maybe the boss of the king level, the mountain level. It's a big chef chicken thing. We can see at the top of this building from Cogwall the Morton looking rabbit spitting out gunky looking acid that the piranha plants were leaving. And here Mario's on the mountain being gusted away probably from that giant bird. Here he's back at the Mexico Tower. Actually, this one's a cave. This is what I'm thinking. Maybe he actually went deeper into the desert and got underground, and he got into like catacombs. That is what I'm imagining, because it still looks like the same design as the other structures. We see a bullet bill cannon at the very back, and as we go here, actually it could have been beaten right inside that thing as it was, as it's maybe lifting up. And we don't really see who could possibly be the boss of this level, or like as a resemble a boss, because most Mario levels in the Sunshine and 64 had their own distinct boss for their level. I can't really picture what could be here. I would wish it would be something like Tatanga coming back from Super Mario Land, but that would be wishful thinking. Here is what seems to be the boss for the city level, a giant mechanical centipede, which actually seems really threatening for a Super Mario game, lunging at him, and Mario is flung out, actually soaking wet from the rain. And this is when it comes to a close, the trailer. This was a wild trailer in my opinion. We see that Mario's hat actually is alive, so it is unknown if maybe Bowser's hat is also alive, or this is the only one that has the eyes and assumingly has a consciousness. I think that this game has the possibility of being pretty intricate. If they do a special mission in New Donk City where Mario has to scale a red, like a tower made of red beams, like in the original Donkey Kong, I will flip my shit. I think that is a high possibility of that happening with how the thing is extremely themed with. I just don't know why the boss of it is the giant centipede, but whatever the case is, it looks amazing. the rabbits, they can be something to do with the rabbits that Mario has to catch. They can have something to do with the new caps that are being showed, Mario's new hat, why everybody has a hat. Maybe they're even brainwashing Bowser with the hats, and that Mario only has the only these one that doesn't do that. Um, trying to think. I'm just trying to think of every other thing that came up. But those are everything I've noticed here. I think that the purple coins and cog things might be used to go into the caps, crazy caps, maybe to purchase new hats for Mario to have. Because if Mario could just go in there and just get whatever hat he wants, that might be me, eh. But if he had to do something to get those hats, maybe doing a certain mission will give him a coupon to get that hat or some sort of voucher to actually say, okay, yeah, you unlock this hat, you can use it. But other than that, I want to see what your guys' opinion is of this game, and I'm really curious of it. Thank you guys for listening. I'm surprised if you even listened completely to my rambling, but thank you very much, and you guys have a good night.